started reading the Quran again. I started, the way I got most of my knowledge would be from books, and then I'd sit on YouTube and I'd watch so many lectures, hours and hours of lectures. And at this time, I was still Sunni, because back from the time when I was with my fiance, I met a few other Muslims. They were friends of his, and their response was, don't learn about the Shias. They're disgusting. They're kafir. You know, they do this, they do that. You know, they put me off. So I wasn't even considering it. But this one day, kind of, and I see it as a miracle now, I just sitting on YouTube watching lectures, I came across this one lecture, and from the start I noticed it was quite different from other lectures I'd been watching, because, you know, people were shouting salawat, and at the time I didn't know what salawat was and why they were doing it. And I quickly realised that actually this was a Shia lecture that I was watching. And part of me was just like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this. Maybe I should just switch it off. But out of kind of sheer curiosity, I decided to give it a chance, and I just sat and watched it. And the speaker was Dr. Sayyid Ahmad Naqshbandi, and the video I was watching was discussing the Shia view on the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. I was just expecting it to be a joke, really, and a just massive insult. But just the way he spoke was with such eloquence and dignity and honor as well. I liked the fact that he was doing academic discussion, but he wasn't cursing anyone. He wasn't, you know, calling the wives in any kind of derogatory names. It was all very respectful, and I appreciated that. And I just couldn't help but just like listen to these arguments and think they actually make sense. I can see where he's coming from. So, but kind of part of me didn't want to believe it, because again, it was this fear. I'd been taught that the Sahaba and the wives of the Prophet, you know, you cannot criticize them at all. Like, any slight criticism, that means that you're a disbeliever in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even though I did believe it, I didn't really want to. And by the end of this lecture, just like, I found it so bizarre, like when they were talking about Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and everyone had started crying, and I was sitting there thinking, why are they all crying? I don't understand. This is really strange. I didn't understand how they could sit there and cry about a man who lived over, 1,400 years ago. It was very, very strange. But it was simply because of those arguments that Ahmad Naqshbandi made. I decided, well, maybe I should watch a few more of his lectures, and I did, alhamdulillah. And I learned so much. All these misconceptions I had about Shia Islam, they just disappeared. There was a reason why the Shias do what they do. They do it because of the Quran, and they do it because of the Sunnah. And following on from that, I learned about the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and I watched the biographies of each member, and I just really did feel a love, and I felt a renewed sense of love for the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I think after that, the story of Imam Hussein alayhi salam touched me as well, because, you know, Sunnis, they just brush over Karbala. They say it's not important. But when I realised that Imam Hussein was attacked and killed by fellow Muslims, it really kind of shook me in a way. I could see that Karbala was doing like a divide between Islam and what wasn't Islam. And when I knew what Imam Hussein alayhi salam was fighting against, I just thought, you know, I have to accept Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Of course I do. I can't turn away and say that I'm not on Imam Hussein alayhi salam's side, because if I do that, I would feel like that I would be betraying him. I feel like I'd be betraying my prophet, and I would almost feel like I was on Yazid's side in a way.
حزين وعالحزن صابر يا دنيا